Hi, Jenny here. I have had potato pancakes before, but I have never had a zucchini potato pancake. I guess it's a zucchini fritter. But I do still have this much zucchini left from the zucchini I got from my neighbor. So I found another zucchini recipe to try, zucchini fritters. So let's get started. For this recipe we are going to need 4 cups of shredded zucchini, 1/3 cup of diced onion, 2 teaspoons of minced garlic, 3/4 cup of flour, 1 egg, 1 tablespoon of dried parsley, half a teaspoon of salt, and some vegetable oil. We will go ahead and shred our zucchini first because zucchini usually has a lot of water in it, so we want it to sit for a little while so some of that water can kind of come out of it. We'll put some salt on there to help draw out the water so that our recipe won't be so wet. So before we go to actually use the zucchini, when we cook it, we will squeeze all the water out before we add it to the rest of our ingredients. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some of this up so that I can put it through my food processor. If you have a hand grater, you can hand grate the zucchini. And from what I've seen on different recipes, this is preferably to use the large grater holes. With my food processor, I only have 1 grating blade. It makes it smaller, but it will have to do. So we'll see how much this gets us. Dun, dun. I have one more recipe that I also found too for a zucchini chocolate chip bread that needs about 3 cups of shredded zucchini. So at that point, hopefully I'll have most of the zucchini used, if not all of it. We'll see how much this gets us. Again, you leave the skins on because the skins are edible. Like I said, I've got the food processor and then just my grating blade on there. This way it goes faster also. I think I've got a grating plate, but it's instead of a box grater, it's just a flat one because it fits better in my drawer that way. And then you have to choose where what area you want to grate on because it's got just the regular slicing hole and the grating holes. And I'm like, well, that'll take a lot of time. This, boom, I'm done. This way too, it kind of helps draw out some of that water. But anyways, let's grate. Just enough room in there. You're going to use your grater, you usually get some other pieces up on top. Like I'm doing carrots, I eat all that, but for this, I think, just toss. And then we have all that nice shredded zucchini. So I will go ahead and measure out our 4 cups, put it in this bowl here. Put those off to the side. So you can feel that the zucchini is very moist. Very nice to be able to have grated all that quickly. Right. 3, That's not bad. It is just over 4 cups worth I had there. Actually, you know what? Let me get some of the other. Okay. I think salt shaker. Just sprinkle a little salt on. And then we'll let that sit while we cut up the onion and mix our other ingredients together. We will now go ahead and dice up a 1/3 cup of our onion. So obviously we're not going to use the whole onion. For the moment, I'll cut up what we need. And then what I like to do, if you've watched my videos, you see that whenever I'm using an onion, if I don't use the whole thing, I just go ahead and chop it all up anyways. And then I put it in baggies, put it in the freezer. And then when I'm making my, I don't know, soups, my recipes, whatever I'm making over the weekend, you make some type of dish for our family to eat during the week. Make something for my mom. Then I just pull out the onion that I need from the freezer, and it's already chopped and ready to go. So that's nice. I just did that this last weekend. I made, what did I make? I made 2 different things. I made American goulash. That's what it was. So with that, I just pulled the onion I had already chopped up out of the freezer. And that was good to go, so that was nice. Stuff there I don't like. All right. I forgot, I had seen, on another YouTube channel I watched, the Spicy Nona, how she had actually left the end of the onion on there and cut up her onion that way. And I thought that was pretty neat. And I did try that one of the last times that I chopped up an onion, and it worked. I was like, okay. This method I learned from Elton Brown. He was on the Food Network long ago. Trying to think, Good Eats, that was his channel. So I saw him cut up the onion this way. I'm like, oh, okay, and I've been cutting my onion that way ever since. So I'm not used to cutting it the other way yet, that would be my go-to method, but in any case. How do you cut up your onion? Do you leave the end on it like that? You know, leave the end on it, and then you have to like just chop like 3/4 of the way through, and then you end up chopping the end of the onion off? Or do you do it this way, where you chop off both ends and then and then go dice it up? Just dawned on me these are going in some zucchini fritters. I should probably have them a little bit smaller than bigger. Normally they're just going into a soup or a casserole type dish or something, and then it's okay to have them bigger. But, alrighty. Got our 1/3 of a cup. I'm going to go ahead and dice up this onion and get that in the freezer, and we'll continue. We are ready to start mixing our ingredients together. I'm going to go ahead and beat my egg first. Just get that kind of mixed up, ready to go. Easier to mix in with all the other ingredients. Put that in our large bowl here. Okay, and our onion. Forgot I was going to chop it a little bit smaller. We'll see how that goes. I'll know for the future. I have dried parsley here. So I'm only going to use a tablespoon. If you are using fresh parsley, go ahead and add 2 tablespoons. I know it also comes in a spice type container, but my husband found this for me one of the times shopping, and so it's more like fresh. So I'm gonna use that. Also, again, if you have regular garlic cloves, chop up 2 cloves with garlic. I don't have any of that on hand right now, so I'm going to use my minced garlic. That's already minced. Again, 1 teaspoon equals 1 clove. So we'll do that. And our half a teaspoon of salt. Three-quarters cup of flour. It's already looking so pretty. I should grab my phone and add a shot because I don't think you can see that. Before I add the flour in, just look how pretty that is. All right. I did see someone that made a similar recipe, that instead of flour they used Ritz crackers. So I know that's an interesting substitute. That, again, you get that butteriness flavor from the Ritz, and obviously again the salt, so you get that little floury type texture. But all right, now the zucchini has been sitting. That's part of the reason too that I wanted to chop up all the onion and all that stuff, give it extra time. So what we're going to do now is squeeze out the water. So you can just do this in your hand. You can use like a cheesecloth if you have a cheesecloth. What I've done before this is if I've prepped a day ahead of time, if I've prepped early or whatever, you can see all that water running out of there. I put it in a container in the fridge. I put a piece of paper towel on the bottom. So that helps with soaking up some of the water too. You could also put this in a strainer. I shouldn't be like squeezing this over. Will you see me if I'm still going over the sink? A little bit. I should grab another bowl. To put it in a strainer and just let it sit in the strainer while you're again prepping your other ingredients and stuff. And let it just drip out naturally. Drink that water, use that water for some other recipe. Grab them. Okay, let me grab my egg roll. Put the egg in there, but so it's part of why zucchini is so good for you also, because it has a lot of water in there. So it's hydrating. And again, always good to find ways of getting vegetables into your eating for the day. Zucchini doesn't have much taste. Usually kind of picks up on whatever taste that you're mixing in with it. So that's why it's good, you know, too, using in bread type recipes, on soups and things. I know I have a recipe that is zucchini and cherry tomatoes. I'm trying to think what else was in there. But I've made that recipe a couple times. That one too, I've had the zucchini cooked a little much. I've got to get that one down, like just for making it for myself now. I have a video of that on my channel, but the zucchini was kind of overcooked. So the last recipe I made the zucchini breakfast casserole. And that one, the zucchini was cooked like just right. That still just a little bit firm. Had good texture, had good taste. I think I finished that one all up. I also made a zucchini cranberry bread. That I'm still eating. Pour some of that out. Let's get the last of this. Excellent. So do you guys grow zucchini in your garden? You have a garden? Do you like to eat zucchini? Okay, let me know what your favorite recipe is with zucchini. I've done some, I think I did zucchini chips also. Did those in the air fryer. Oh, those were good. All right, so there we have it. So we have a big bowl full of zucchini juice. But now we'll just go ahead, sure we will, and mix this all together. Oh yeah, I was going to use a spoon. I got a spoon here. Hands are good. Get everything well mixed. Figured my hands were dirty from the zucchini already anyway, so why not? Have a nice moist mixture. My bowl flopper. It's got a non-stick base. I think the bowl would stick more to the counter, and I mean, I guess it doesn't slide, so I'm doing it, but goodness gracious. Silly thing. Okay. Go ahead and get my hands cleaned up, and we will move over to the stove. The stove top, and we'll start cooking them. In a large skillet on the stove, we are going to pour in a couple tablespoons worth of oil, so enough that it's going to cover the bottom of the pan. Now you can use vegetable oil, you can use olive oil. At first I was thinking olive oil wasn't good for frying, but it's actually not good for deep frying because of its well, it has a high smoke point, but alright. We'll just heat that up for a little bit. And then drop by kind of tablespoon, well, like a quarter cup's worth of, like so a large serving spoon's worth. Yeah, or a quarter cup if you want to measure it out, like about a quarter cup's worth of batter that we'll put in the pan. Flatten it out just a little bit, cook for about a minute, and then flip it. First, we need this to heat up, and then afterwards, for when we are finished cooking, you want to get some paper towel and put it on a plate, or you could use a baking sheet and put like a cooling rack into the baking sheet and put the finished zucchini fritters on there. Just put those on the rack so when they kind of cool too, any excess oil will drip off. I'm supposed to do that. I think let's take a little bit of water. You're supposed to be able to tell if the oil is ready if you sprinkle some water on there and it sizzles. Okay, we're good. Sure. I actually just took it all out of the middle of the pan. That's interesting. depending on the size that you make them. You usually can get about 3 to 4 in your pan. Make them kind of thin so they'll cook all the way through. Just set up fairly quickly in the oil. Hold their shape. I got one thick onion here. Just dawned on me, I think I saw someone that actually grated their onion, also put it in there. That would make more sense. Or cut it into like more like zucchini strips, so they would blend in a little bit more. I will bring you in closer for my second round. I'll watch the timer or not. They usually should brown up a little bit on the edges, so you'll be able to tell when it will be time to flip. I forgot this is a slippery pan. Last time I was making probably one of my zucchini tomato dishes in here, and I was like trying to scoop the zucchinis to flip them, and they kept sliding all over. So that's good for non-stickness. It's not going to be sticking to the pan, but also makes it a little bit of a challenge when you're trying to flip stuff over. In a minute, I see some of the edges starting to get a little brown. Looks good. Part of it too. I've got a whole chunk of onion here that didn't separate. The thing I usually try to make sure that all the pieces of onion, all the layers are all separated, so all the pieces are separate, because sometimes when you're cooking them, they'll break apart and all that. But beforehand, I see here I've got a chunk of like 4 pieces of onion. Thing with cooking with the oil, and make sure that it doesn't bounce up and splash you. There we go. That looks nice. They look very good. They smell very good. I also haven't had breakfast yet, so I'm looking forward to eating these. So they'll be nice and warm. To go a little bit. Kind of like pancakes. Most pancakes, they bubble up a little bit. You can kind of tell when they might be done. But you just kind of flip them up, look at the bottom a little bit. That one looks good. See that? I'll zoom in. Put them on our plate. Backside of that one a little more. So depending on how thick they are, again, also will depend on how quickly they will cook. So I could have tried to squish these down a little bit more. This one's a good depth though. Good size. Should be good consistency. All right. A couple onions in the pan. Fell off the edge of that one. All right. We'll let those sit, cook another round, and I will bring you in to get a close-up view. So there's still enough oil in the pan. Don't need to add any more. So again, just add a scoopful. If you want them more rounded or whatever, try to do that right away so they don't set in the shape that you put them in. Turn that heat down a little bit. I'm on number 3 on my controls here. Per usual, the second batch will probably cook a little faster than the first. There's another one. 2 onions are connected. Ah. Alright, you can see the edges are browning on that one already. So that is probably going to be ready to turn over. Yeah. This one. This one too has a couple onions all stuck together. I should have made sure I separated them more before cooking. Oh, see how that one looks. A little bit longer. My battery's flashing, so hopefully this won't run out before I get this batch done. Same, almost just like pancakes, you turn them over, see if they're cooked enough. Flip them back over if they're not. So it could be a little browner. The zucchini fritters are all finished. They're all cooked. They smell good. They're still warm. Can't wait to taste them. I guess one of my suggestions, as I was saying when I was cooking it, was that the onions should have been diced more, so almost more like minced, or shredded, so that they would cook better, so that they would sit in here better, because I had a couple of onion pieces, like I said, that were stuck together, and then you had a big hunk of onion in here. I would pick it up and eat it with my hand, but then again I'm like, well, I also want to taste it with a little bit of applesauce, but we'll try it by itself first. So like I said, I know I've eaten my potato pancakes with applesauce. I know you can eat them with sour cream. I don't have any sour cream. I checked. A little bit I had left was like, yeah, no. Trying to think of all the ingredients I had mixed in there. It has a potato pancake texture. Kind of hash browns. Kind of tastes like potatoes. You get a little bit of zucchini in there. And it's almost like you could taste the flour. And then there's egg. Maybe that's part of the texture of the egg in there, but yeah, I can taste a little bit of zucchini. A little bit of onion. Don't taste any garlic. Obviously parsley doesn't really have any taste. Not much. If I put parsley in eggs, sometimes I can taste it. We'll try it with some applesauce, although then again, it's kind of thing too. It's going to taste probably like the applesauce. Have that sweetness. Okay. Well, the applesauce doesn't overpower it. It still tastes like a nice zucchini pancake. A zucchini fritter. Well, I like that. I will eat these again. Make them again. That was a good recipe. It was worthwhile using up some zucchini for. So let me know. Yeah, being summer, a lot of zucchini is coming to fruition at these points, about ready to be picked probably, so there'll be a lot of zucchini out there. I know when I was at work and stuff, there were a couple of people there that had gardens, and they would always bring in, they always had over too many vegetables that they were, could eat themselves and stuff, and would bring it in and share. So zucchini is one of those things that people like to share. So now you have another recipe you could try. I will leave this recipe down below. I hope you enjoyed, and you guys keep it positive. Go make it a great day. Bye-bye. I'm gonna eat my breakfast.